Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront updates and potentially the last news update of 2018, because we actually got some news today, which was quite unexpected as they released an article talking with Corey Burton and Matt Lanter, the voice actors for Dooku and Anakin, as well as giving us a first glimpse of how they're actually gonna sound and some of the quotes that Dooku will have. On top of that, I've got some other news from the week I wanted to go over that I didn't think was big enough for its own video, but I think you guys might still find interesting. I also want to give a shout out to all these senators who supported the channel by clicking the join button below, and a special big thanks to my Grand and Supreme Senators Cycle Thor, Jake, Douglas, Bryantsaurus Rex, Kiwi Gone Mad, Info Arcade, Dorky Dancer 17 and Adam for their very kind support. So thank you very much, you really make me able to do this full time. If you're interested in knowing more what that's about, you can check out the link in the description below. But now, let's dive straight into the news. So in this article, they interview both Corey Burton and Matt Lanter, who were the voice actors for Dooku and Anakin in the Clone Wars series, or I mean, they still are, considering that they're bringing back Clone Wars Season 7. But they give us a bit of an idea here of their thoughts on doing these characters, as well as what it takes, for instance, to play Dooku's persona, where you kind of need to downplay any sense of weakness and show no fear, but still give it a slight grain of human emotion or discomfort or fear when you get into a bad position, basically if he has low health or similarly in the game, I'd imagine. So I thought it was very interesting reading this, and I would highly suggest you guys to head over if you want to read more about how it is to portray these characters. I did read through this from top to bottom during my live stream if you for some reason want me to read it for you. But I wanted to go over the more important things here, like actually getting to hear them, as well as some of the voice lines that Dooku will have. But I thought it was a really good article overall, and shout out to Daniel, the editor over at DICE writing for Battlefront 2, who wrote this, and it was nice to get a surprise like this. But if you move on to the actual voice lines, this is a little teaser they gave us through some banter between Anakin and Dooku.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
So yeah, very exciting to hear those Clone Wars actors doing this for the game. You might hear that they do sound a little bit different, at least I think they're not 100% accurate to how they are in the Clone Wars series just yet. However, Jay did clarify a little bit out in my stream that they're not polished here. This is the raw audio files from the actual recording, so whatever sound effects and similarly they add in the Clone Wars series has not yet been applied here. So I think they're gonna sound more accurate once that's fixed, at least I hope so. Because they still sound good. You can very clearly hear the two voice actors and recognize them from the Clone Wars series, but they don't sound 100% accurate, and it could just be because of age as well. I mean, they've both aged since they did the last time they did the Clone Wars series, so obviously their voices are gonna change a little bit. But I'm very excited to hear how they're gonna sound with all the effects applied and being in the game and so on. And then lastly, they gave us a list of some voice lines that Dooku will have in Battlefront 2, with the following: Count Dooku of Sereno, at your service. I'm guessing that's probably his intro. I mean, that's what it sounds like, and I like that they actually get him to say Sereno, because that's not something we hear in the movies, but that is his home planet and where he has his little castle in the Clone Wars series, where he kind of brings people for challenges such as the box and trains his apprentices and so on. And then it is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber. Very classic, very nice. Hope is something we cannot allow our enemies to possess. It almost sounds like something Iden would say. I did not bring you here to flit about like a Toydarian. And that brings me right back to when, well, he mercilessly killed Toydarians in the Clone Wars series, or more specifically his apprentice Savage Opress as well. I would have thought you had learned your lesson. That feels like something he would say to Anakin or Obi-Wan or both. Tell me what you want and I will show you how the dark side can help you achieve it. Ignorance of the Force will not save you from it. So yeah, those are some of the voice lines that Dooku will have in Battlefront 2, which is very nice to hear. I did talk about some of the data mined voice lines previously, which is not included here, so just to be clear, these are some of the voice lines. Obi-Wan has a lot of voice lines that they did not have in the initial list, so if your favorite Dooku line is not here, chances are it's still gonna be in there, just that it hasn't been revealed just yet. But if you move on to some of the other news I've got to talk about, Earlier in the week they did a slight tweak to Geonosis balance by decreasing the ATT health by 1000 and increasing the hard cell health by 50%. And I have played some Geonosis since then, and it does feel fairly balanced. It's still pretty easy for the clones to push through, to be honest, but I feel like it's better that it's that way than it ends in the second phase or similarly. And then the rotation has been changed yet again after they did some testing with some smaller rotations. So right now it starts off with Geonosis, and then it plays all the maps from one era in a row, which is pretty neat because if you don't like the sequels and you get a sequel map, you can always just quit out and wait until you get an original trilogy or prequel trilogy or whatever you want to play. In some other news, they added a bunch of original Star Wars games to Origin, such as the OG Battlefront 2, KOTOR 1 and 2 and more. So if you want to own those in Origin, that's now available. I already have most of those on Steam, but it's still nice to be able to get all the Star Wars games in one place eventually. And then Ben did respond in regards to potentially getting Hero Blast without a target system as an event, and he did say, "This is one of the things we're hoping to do in 2019, try it as an event. It is dependent on new back and the tech though. Evolution of the system that lets us do battle point events, etc. No guarantees, but just letting you know it's something we're thinking about too." So if they're able to do those kind of fairly big gameplay changes from a server side, that sounds like a very good way to test it, because they can just turn it on, and if everyone's screaming that it sucks, we'll just turn it off instantly, as compared to putting it in an actual patch. So let's hope they can actually figure that out. And lastly, I just wanted to remind you that the Life Day event is still going on until the 27th, where you get 25% off everything in terms of reinforcements, heroes and so on, and you get 50% extra XP. So if you want to level up some characters, now is a very good time to do so. And then on the 28th they do have the New Year's event, which does sound like pure chaos, because we will be getting 75% off everything: heroes, reinforcements, ships, and there will be instant spawn, and there will be 9 versus 9 heroes as well. So chaos will ensue, and I will make sure to get some streams in there, although it is around New Year's celebration. But that is all for this last news update, potentially of the year, or at least before Christmas. I will have one small little video up before Christmas or during Christmas that I will record tomorrow. But other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday break with your families, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.